Ta-da! Hi, I'm Marco. I play in a band called Here, and besides that I make music by myself on modular synth, which makes me a music producer. Is that how you call it nowadays? I don't know. Yeah, whatever. This is my first ever review video, and usually I never would do something like that because I don't like seeing my face on the camera and because I feel a little bit insecure doing it. But a few weeks ago I ordered this piece of gear because I saw it on Instagram and I was so in love with the looks of it because it looks like steampunky, like some sort of Second World War encryption secret service unit. Yeah, I saw it on Instagram. I ordered it immediately, although it's custom built. I had to wait a bit until it arrived here. And in between, I was Googling it in search of reviews or YouTube videos or something like that, and I couldn't find anything useful. So it arrived today. I tried it out, and I was like, okay, you have to show the world what it does because it's really cool, especially if you are into synthesizers and if you're into modular and if you use control voltage for whatever, you have to have it, especially if you are into the distortion. Yeah, it has an awful long name, which is totally difficult to remember. I really had to every time I wanted to Google it, I had to Google the name first. It's called the Electron Fuzz Custom CV Euro pedal by a small company called Retro Mechanical Labs from Portland. Is it Portland? Yeah, Portland, Oregon, USA. I think it's just two persons working there, John Irish and his lovely wife or friend or wife or mother or sister, I don't know, Marnie, which I contact with via email. Yeah, and they do guitar pedals mostly. So as far as I understand, this is their entry in the synthesizer control voltage world. This little box doesn't have any is it quarter-inch jack? I don't know because I'm running the metric system in my head, so it doesn't have any guitar input possibilities. Although there is a version existent where you can plug the guitar in and nevertheless use control voltage for the different parameters. Which reveals what it's actually all about. If you know, if you are into modular, then you might know the form as noise swash module, which is also fuzz module. It has a little bit of similarities in terms of sounds and noises and self-oscillation, but the difference is the noise swash is actually a bitch to use, although it sounds awesome, but it's always unpredictable. Everything you do there is a happy accident. You put a sine wave in and you get something weird out. You record it, you use it, but you can't predict what it actually does. While this one, I already tried it out this late afternoon, is really controllable in every term. It has a high pass, low pass filter, sort of. You can control the distortion output. It has some sort of VCA capabilities where you just mix in the original signal to make it a little bit fatter. And everything in here is really like controllable through the CV input. Means if you buy it, you need cables. You need more cables. I mean, Eurorack guys know that you never can have enough VCAs and cables. So, yeah, without further ado and without talking too much, I would like to show you a little bit what it does if you put sine waves in it, if you put sequences in it and drum sequences in it. So I hope you like this little walkthrough. It's not really a review because I'm not like the super sonic technical guy, whatever. If you like it, give me a like, share the video, or do what I tell your parents or whatever. And if you have questions concerning this one, how are they saying that on YouTube? Usually leave it in the comments sections. Sections, that's one. So. Stop blabbering. If you have questions, give me a comment. Yeah, price-wise and all the other infos where it's available, I will put that in the description box so you know what it's all about. Have fun! Now, isn't that beautiful? Yeah, here it is, the Electron Fuzz Custom CV Euro pedal by Retro Mechanical Labs, yeah, it's written here. Yeah, it's metal, it's a sturdy unit, it's powered by a 9-volt PSU, which you can buy from Amazon or wherever. Yeah, you have the really sturdy buttons here, you have that VU meter, which actually
Yeah, it's not for reading any values or anything, it's just showing you that there's a signal coming in, so it's more for design purposes. And yeah, that gives you that really that vintage steampunk, old submarine, whatever feeling. The naming convention is a little bit, yeah, not weird, but yeah, typical brutal. Huh? You have that Hertz dial, which is, as far as I remember, as far as I understand, some sort of high-pass filter. Then you have the pain dial, which is the low-pass filter. You already see the VU working. You have the bleed dial or bleed-out dial, which just mixes in the original signal. Then you have the controls for the feedback oscillation, just dialing in the amount of feedback. I think that's a different frequency ranges, or in general the amount. I really don't know that. It's really like more trial and error. Then you have a button here called multiply by 1000, which is some sort of distortion boost. I didn't have the feeling that it multiplies actually by 1000, because otherwise my ear or my head or anything else around here would explode. But it really gives you a sort of boost. You have the bypass. You see, this is really like what you would have in a guitar pedal. It's really hard to press. I'm really tempted to use my fist, but actually you would never put that in bypass if you use it. And then you have the inputs for control voltage to control the high pass, the low pass, the feedback oscillation, and the amount of distortion coming in and out. So that's really like a, yeah, I would say like a VCA or an attenuator for the distortion signal. Yeah, and this cut switch, which I had the impression is really like something where you would dial in the cutoff filter, or I don't know if it's really a cutoff filter, but where you would dial in a frequency amount, and in and out, of course, for the signal. Let's try it out with the basic signal first, so you see what it actually does. So let's not start with the sequence, but with a basic sine wave. I just take that one out so you get a feeling of what I'm talking about. Standard sine wave, as you might know it from different oscillators. This one is coming from the Z3000 from Tiptoe Audio. If I plug that in now and I turn up the volume, you really get a feeling, okay, it's already distorting. The weird thing is, you might think now I already have the extreme values in, but the dials work counterclockwise. For whatever reason, I don't know, maybe John Irish's brain is switched. You have to get used to that, then you have to turn your head around, or maybe you just turn the unit, so it might be right, I don't know, might be logic. What happens now, if I dial in the feedback oscillator, I will hear something when I have the extreme values in. And now you get a sense of what this unit is actually capable of. Now imagine that being controlled by control voltage. The high pass and low pass do actually what they are supposed to do. And now we get the cut thing, which I think it's really a cut off, but I don't know what it actually cuts off, but you hear that sizzling or whatever nasty stuff being cut off once you turn it off. Thing is, at the moment I still have the original signal dialed in, so if I use the bleed out and turn it to 0, I have the pure distortion signal. So isn't that lovely? That's our sine wave. So now multiplied by 1000, what happens? I don't know. Yeah, it gives that nasty, really sharp, fuzzy thing. But it really starts to get fun once you use the control voltage inputs to control these parameters, and that's what we are going to do next. So let's do some fun stuff with this beast. This is still our sine wave. The module is on bypass, or the pedal is on bypass at the moment. If I turn that out, I have our distorted signal. What I'm going to do now is I'm taking a sequence from the Analog Solutions Overcon sequencer. Of course, you can take an LFO or whatever CV input you want to use. Maybe I think this could be fun, for example, with a make noise pressure points or something where you can use it by hand. And if I dial that in the hertz parameter, you see already, okay, there's CV coming in from the sequencer now rhythmically, and the fun starts when I turn off the hertz parameter, and suddenly I have a sequence going. Awesome, isn't that beautiful? So of course I can do that with the other parameters too. The good thing about the Overcon is actually that it has 3 CV outs, or 3 rows of sequences. Now let's take the pen parameter. Let me just dial in something with a little syncopation or whatever. And this is the fun thing. If I go by bypass, you hear that? If I go by bypass, it's still our sine wave, just being influenced by the module or by the circuitry. Whatever. Is it an algorithm? No, it's analog. Huh? See, I don't know anything what I'm talking about. Let's take the 3rd row of the Overcon and just put it into feedback oscillation to see what happens there. You see now it's getting really, or you hear it now, it's getting really cool and weird. And for additional fun I can blend in the original signal. We're just talking about still one sine wave I'm using, not even a sequence or drums or whatever. So now go for next level and dial something into the distortion out. I'm going with taking something from the math or whatever. I don't know whatever they put in this box, but it's just awesome. Like I said, it's still just the basic sine wave we are distorting here and fuzzing here, but alone the possibility that you can really manipulate the high pass and low pass with the hertz signal, that you have some sort of, actually, yeah, would I call it an attenuator in that case? Yeah, actually yes. You can really dial in the amount of control voltage in here. And it's just beautiful. And it looks beautiful. I mean, really, I bought it because of the looks, and I'm so astonished by what it does. Okay. Let's do some sequences. Now let the fun begin. I have a little sequence running here, which is a little bit gated. It's coming from the Magnus Rini, which is synced to the Overcon. The Overcon has no values dialed in at the moment, so you just hear the pure sequence. If I turn on the bypass, you suddenly have beautiful sounds. You see how extreme the feedback oscillator can really grab into that sound and grab into those empty spaces. If I manipulate a little bit the envelope of our sequence, like making it shorter, you really get a self oscillation. But let's make this longer and dial in the Oberkorn to see what happens. So I turned off high pass and low pass, and now I'm giving a little bit of signal. Into our heard high pass parameter. Same goes for low pass. Let's see what happens here. And now I'm doing the same with the feedback oscillation. And it's still a sine wave, it's unbelievable. I mean, okay, people who use lots of distortion or fuzz pedals might totally, yeah, I don't know, might totally not be surprised, or people who use something like the WMB Geiger counter or modules like this might also be used to, yeah, controlling distortion values with control voltage. But yeah, to me it's new, and so that's why I'm so impressed. But what I really like about this pedal is actually the quality of the sound, the warmth. It's not really like you have that. It's not really like you have that crunchy digital bit crushing whatever mentality you usually have when you go into a Eurorack Modular and you try a distortion. It's really more like the yeah, an analog warmth, whatever. I really have problems describing it, but it's super fun and so impressive. Maybe we should dry out is also good. Okay, maybe we should try out drums next, just for the fun of it. Let's go for drums. Although I for myself never really distort drums, but I like the idea that I'm actually able to do it. Yeah, I have a basic drum sequence here, which I dial in. It's coming from, what is it actually? Yeah, it's coming from a Pittsburgh Modular game system. That's where it's sequenced, and the bass drum and the snare drum come from mutable instruments, mutable instruments peaks. And the hi-hat is coming from an audio damaged neuron, which is doing weird stuff. I don't know why, doesn't matter. It's on bypass, our fuzz custom Euro CV. The name, really, they have to work on the name. You can't name it. Let's call it RML. So our RML is on bypass. If I turn it in, we suddenly have a tone voice. And since you can pitch the bass drum on the peaks, you get a feeling of what's happening there. Now let's dial in some of the stuff. As you can see, Earth and Pain are they in or are they out? Now they are completely in, so the CV input coming from the Overcon doesn't influence anything. Something is happening. Oh, I love this. So this is actually the original signal completely blended out. We have the bleed out parameter, and you really have just the Oberkorn influencing hurt and pain. Yeah, as you can see, I didn't plug in the feedback oscillator. I should do that now, just to see what happens. It's still on drum sequence, isn't it awesome? That's how 9 Inch Nails do it, I think. That's how they did it. Most definitely. No, but seriously, like I said, I'm not really into distorting drums, but this is just too interesting not to use. And like you heard, the original Electron Bypass is really just that boring, stupid drum sequence coming from the Pittsburgh. Oh my god, I can listen to this for hours actually. I don't know if you could do that too, but yeah, call me weird. I really love this. Yeah. Speed it up a bit. Yeah, and that's it, actually. Not much more to show. I think I will spend a few days and nights with this module, just trying out different stuff, because I think there are endless possibilities on what you can do. Don't know what happens, for example, if you don't put a sine or square or whatever in here, but just simple CV. Could do some fun stuff, I don't know. Yeah, it's a recommendation. Everything you need to know for buying this or ordering this, you will find in the description box. I think it's a wonderful product. It's a wonderful concept. Of course, I would love to have that as an actual module to crank that in my Eurorack case. But on the other hand, I think then you would lose a little bit of that beautiful design and aesthetics. And yeah, it's cool. It's a recommendation for me. It's I mean, I own lots of modules, but this is really like the most fun thing I had in a while now, and definitely a thing to go. And yeah, I hope you like this review, or is it a review? I don't know. Have fun, yeah, and continue to make good music. Bye bye.